welcome back to my channel. If you're new, my name's Amanda. So I hope you each had a happy Easter if you celebrate, and a great weekend. I thought it would be really fun to do a what's for dinner video with some leftover ham recipe ideas, because I know ham is like one of the main things that a lot of families fix for Easter dinner. So these are some really easy and yummy recipes that I think you're really going to enjoy. We loved them all, and it was great to try some new recipes using ham. We don't cook a whole lot with ham, so it was fun to try some new things. So today's video is also really special because it's in collaboration with my friend Casey over at Life with Casey. I'll have her channel and video linked below in the description box, so make sure after you watch my video that you head over and check hers out as well. I know she's going to be cooking up something delicious for you. Make sure you show her some love and let her know that I sent you. If you're coming over from Casey's channel, welcome. I'm so glad to have you here. And of course, all those who are returning, I'm so glad to have you each time as well. I do all kinds of what's for dinners, recipes. It's really all about the food here. If that sounds like something you would like, I'd love it if you'd hit that subscribe button and join my YouTube family. And make sure you hit that notification bell so you get notified each time I post a new video. I'm always trying to plan different things, yummy things to share with y'all. We always like trying a lot of new recipes too. So let's go ahead and get into this video. I'm really excited to share it with y'all. Give me a thumbs up if you're excited to see these recipes, but let's go ahead and get into it. We're going to get started with our ham and broccoli pasta with a garlic parmesan cream sauce. And this was so very good and so super easy too. We're just going to boil 8 ounces of pasta. I use, I think it's called campanelli. They kind of like a little rolled up lasagna noodles almost, and I thought they're really cute, so I got those. And we're going to go ahead and melt our butter and saute our garlic for just a minute. And of course you can use fresh garlic. I just always have that squeezed garlic on hand, so it just makes for kind of quick, easy work of it. And then we're going to add in our flour and cook that for just a minute or two, just long enough to cook that raw flour taste out. And we're going to go ahead and add in our chicken broth and some thyme and basil. And we're just going to let that thicken just a little bit. And then we'll add in our half and half and our Parmesan cheese. Now, y'all missed what I did before I did all this, which was accidentally throw in the Parmesan cheese instead of the flour. They were sitting close together and I totally messed up. So, I don't know. I just always get so annoyed with myself when I do those things, but I know we all do that kind of stuff in the kitchen. So, it's just one of those things that, you know, especially if you're trying to hurry, you know, grabbing the wrong thing like that. It's definitely so easy to do. So I had to start over and get all this started again. But it was fun. It happens. I just wanted to share it with y'all because I thought it was funny. And I also just want you to know that we all make mistakes, because I know sometimes I can be hard on myself. So just in case you're like that too, I thought I'd share my silly mistake with y'all. So now that we've got our sauce thickened, we also added in some garlic salt and some pepper. We're going to go ahead and add in our cooked noodles, some chopped ham, and some frozen broccoli that I steamed. Obviously, if you have like fresh broccoli, that would be delicious in this too. I just didn't happen to have any on hand, so I just steamed a little bit of frozen for this. But y'all, that's it. This is so quick and easy. Just stir it together, let it kind of warm through with that, you know, ham and the broccoli and everything. And then this is ready to plate up and serve. This was so yummy. That cream sauce was so very good. And then you had a nice little salty bit of ham and the yummy broccoli. I love broccoli. I just topped this with a little bit of parsley, and we just really enjoyed this. Definitely recommend it. And I'll have all these recipes linked down in the description box below. So now we're going to get started on our homemade calzones, or you might want to call them homemade Hot Pockets, whatever you like to call them. They're very delicious. I'd actually never made these before, but I just used that really easy pizza dough recipe I had shared in a previous video. So that's what I'm doing now. I've just got some sugar and some yeast and some warm water that I'm mixing together here. That's going to sit for 5 minutes, and then you're going to add in the rest of the ingredients, which there's very minimal ingredients in this. This comes together so quick. You don't have to let the dough rest or anything like that. It's like an awesome, quick, easy pizza dough recipe. So we're just adding some flour in here. We'll also add in some olive oil, a little bit of garlic salt, and I like to add some Italian seasoning. I don't know. I just think it just adds a little bit more flavor to the crust. So definitely feel free to put your spin on what you'd like to have in it too. Now, this just needs for 5 minutes, and then that's it. It's ready to use. I think that's so awesome. You don't have to wait for it to rise again, nothing. So we're just going to put it on a floured. I just use one of these little like trays that I have, and just go ahead and get it kind of kneaded together a little bit, bring it together in a ball. And for the calzones, you actually need to cut it into 8 equal pieces. I am not that great at cutting this into equal pieces. I found that out when I was rolling it out because some of them were just not as big as the others. But I cut it in half, then I cut each piece in half again, and then each piece in half again, and get 8, kind of triangles or whatever. And so we're going to try to roll this into an oval. I was not very successful with that, but I did the best I could. It's not, they don't have to be perfect, y'all. It's just, it's just homemade food, and just whatever, whatever works for you, and, whatever shape you like to roll it into, or can get the dough to roll into, whichever works best. But this is so easy. Just some pizza sauce, some mozzarella cheese, a little bit of leftover ham, and some green peppers. Now, you could definitely, do any or not topping, but filling that you want to with these. This is just what we decided to do, to utilize, like, ham, and kind of give y'all some ideas of things to do with leftover ham. I think that's always a common thing for people to have after Easter. So I think that's a great way, to utilize it. And I tried to find recipes that were a little different, something that maybe you might not have, thought of, or not the typical things. I know a lot of times there's, some standbys everybody kind of uses ham in, but I was trying to think of some maybe not so always thought of type things, so that y'all might be able to have some different recipes to use. Definitely let me know in the comments below what kind of recipes you like to make with leftover ham. I think it's always great to get some new ideas, and a great way to use up leftovers like that. And it's fun to reinvent it in a little different way versus trying to eat the same thing for several days too. So over to the side there, I have my Pampered Chef Stone, and I've got some parchment paper on it. So I'm just transferring these over. Once we get these all done, we're going to brush them with an egg wash, which is just an egg with a tablespoon of water mixed together, and then cut a little slit in each one, a couple of slits or something like that. And then we're going to bake them in the oven at 420 degrees for about 15 or so minutes, just until they're nice and golden brown. And y'all, these were so good. They smelled so good, like baking too. I love like the smell of, fresh pizza like that. And that's essentially what it smelled like. But we absolutely love these. I will definitely make these again, because that pizza dough is so easy to throw together like that. Like, you just can't really ask for much easier than that, other than obviously if you bought like the store-bought, kind of dough. And you could do that too. You could, whatever dough you want to use for this will be fine. But these were very delicious. I even think it'd be yummy to maybe sprinkle some Parmesan cheese on the outside before they bake. That would probably be really good too. But so yummy. So last we have our baked fried rice. So we're going to be cutting up our vegetables. I've got some baby carrots that I'm using that I needed to use up, and some onions that I'm going to add in here. Now, I don't know about y'all, but I had never thought about baking fried rice. And when I come across this recipe, I thought, oh, I've got to try this. Because number one, if it's as simple as really baking, fried rice and it tasting similar, that would be so cool, because it frees you up, to cook something else on the stove if you want to. This was so good. And while it didn't taste exactly like fried rice, it was so yummy that I will make it again. Like, my son was already like, can we make this again tomorrow? So I'm like, we still have a little bit left over. Let's eat that first. But he absolutely loved it. Now, in this pot, I'm just going to go ahead and heat my chicken broth, soy sauce, and just a little bit of that chili garlic sauce. I only put 1 teaspoon in there. I didn't want to make it like real spicy or anything like that. We're going to bring that to a boil. And while that's heating, we're going to go ahead and get everything into our baking dish. And this part is so simple. You're literally just dumping everything in the pan pretty much and stirring it together. So I've got some oil and some sesame oil that I'm going to put in here, and then just kind of make sure I coat all the rice with it. Then we're just going to dump in our ham, our carrots, our onions, and of course you can use whatever vegetables you like in here. The recipe actually called for green onions, which I didn't have, and green peas and red bell peppers. I didn't have red bell peppers, and I'm not a huge fan of peas. I only like those Le Sueur canned peas. So you can definitely, make this your own thing. I decided to go ahead and add in some canned corn. So about a half a can of corn is what I put in here. There was also some garlic that went in there. And once we get all this in here, just stir it together and get it good and combined. Or you can really wait until you toss in your boiling liquid too, however you like to do it. Now this recipe would also be great to change out the meat, the protein, or you could make it vegetarian and not even put the protein. You could use vegetable broth instead of chicken broth. You could do all kinds of variations of this, so it's a great recipe to kind of play around with and, you know, make it how you like. So now that our liquid has started to boil, we're going to go ahead and pour that into our rice mixture. And we're going to stir that together, cover it tightly with foil, and this is actually going to bake at 400 degrees for 32 minutes. Now once it bakes for 32 minutes, we're going to pull it out and let it sit for 10 minutes. And while that's doing that, you want to bump your oven up to 475 degrees. Once it's sat for 10 minutes, go ahead and remove that foil off the top, fluff your rice, and then put it back in the oven at the 475 degrees for 10 minutes. That's going to give you some little crispy bits on top that are kind of reminiscent of that, you know, fried rice texture. But it is kind of just on top, so it didn't taste completely like fried rice, but it was so very good. I actually fried an egg to put on top of the fried rice or the baked rice. And I had never had that combination before, and it was so good. I highly recommend you do that. Delicious. I will definitely have it like that again. Thank y'all so much for joining me today. Don't forget to check out Casey's channel and her video. I'll have that link below in the description box. If you've enjoyed this video, I'd love it if you'd give me a thumbs up. I hope you have a blessed day wherever you are, and I'll see you in the next one.